Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. Usually, I'm doing challenges to make a fairly simple, in retrospect, game a little bit more difficult. Today, I want to try and beat Red and Blue in the most optimal way. Yes, I only said Red and Blue. I feel Yellow plays differently enough to warrant its own video. What do you mean by optimal, you might be asking yourself? Well, I'm looking for a way to play the original games that minimizes some of the most tedious things about RPGs, like grinding for example. Now, I'm not looking to turn this into a speedrun, just looking to make a casual playthrough a little less stressful and tedious. Although with that being said, I want to establish some ground rules. I'm not going to use any glitches or exploits. That means no missing no Pokédolling at Pokemon Tower, and no Mew glitch. I feel like most casual players would not utilize these glitches unless they were made aware about it. Remember, these games came up before the internet blew up, meaning the likely way you hear about these glitches is through word of mouth. Other than that, everything else is fair game. Any Pokemon that is catchable can be used, and I will allow the use of items, although I'm going to be trying to use them as little as possible. Let's be honest, even though items are kinda OP, they do make the game a lot easier. Also, I will leave links for videos I use for reference in the description below, just in case you want a more in-depth look on why I did things the way I did. You'll also find links to my social media accounts and Patreon in the description below as well, in case you're interested. Okay, I feel like this intro is long enough. Let's get into it, because I have no idea how long this video is actually going to be. Of course, as per usual, we need a solid starter, and the best starter in the original games is Bulbasaur. It has a strong typing for the first 3 gym leaders, and by the time we get to the 4th, we'll have more options to cover some of its weaknesses. Before leaving the lab, our rival challenges us to a battle. Don't worry too much about it though. It doesn't matter if we win or lose this match. The game continues no matter what the outcome. The only thing we'll lose is EXP. So yeah, ideally we want to win, but I wouldn't stress about it. Once you deliver the parcel to Oak, head west to Route 22 and catch a Nidoran mail. It's not going to do much for the moment, but it'll soon become very important. You won't need more Pokemon than this for now, as the first 2 gym leaders only have 2 Pokemon as well. En route to any destination, I'd recommend knocking out any wild Pokemon that you might come across and battle every trainer you come to eye contact with. This will help minimize the need to grind down the road. At this point, put most of your focus on Bulbasaur. At level 13, Bulbasaur learns Vine Whip, and with that move, we can easily sweep Brock's team, as both his Geodude and Onix have a quad weakness to grass. Brock gives us our first badge and a useless TM, Bide, that we can sell for a quick buck. Now it's time to pour our attention to Nidoran. You'll have to do some switch training to get him up to par with Bulbasaur, but some of these trainers have Metapods and Kakunas, which give you decent EXP early game. And since they can't attack, you don't have to worry about switching. Once we're in Mount Moon, and the wild encounter seemingly raises, Nidoran should be at a high enough level where it can take care of any Pokemon there not named Geodude. There's also a ton of useful TMs like Mega Punch and Rare Candy for a free level up. Do some exploring and pick up every item you come across. You can sell the useless ones later. At level 16, both Nidoran and Bulbasaur evolve into Nidorino and Ivysaur respectively. But we're not done with the evolution train yet. Behind this hiker is a Moonstone. And wham bam domo arigato man, we have a Nidoking. I immediately teach it Mega Punch. Nidoking stats are pretty darn good, especially this early on. Nidoqueen could fill this role as well. They both have the same stat total at 410 and have a very similar and wide move pool via TM. But I went with the King because he is stronger and faster than his female counterpart. While we do give up some bulk, besides a crit, nothing I can think of can one-shot it this early on. Plus, the move it learns at level 23 is stronger than the move Nidoqueen learns. Once we've reached Cerulean, both Nidoking and Ivysaur are at the low 20s, more than capable of taking on Misty. Again, this is all Ivysaur. Vine Whip once again gets the job done, winning us the Cascade badge and a TM we can actually use in Bubble Beam, which Nidoking can learn. I'd recommend finding a guide online for some of the hidden items. You'd be surprised on what you're missing out on, like this Rare Candy here. Before heading up to Nugget Bridge, our rival challenges us yet again. This time, however, We have to win to continue. Mega Punch from Nidoking easily knocks out his first 3 Pokemon, and Bubble Beam makes quick work of his starter Charmander. Nidoking also makes quick work of all the trainers on Nugget Bridge, and at level 23, he learns Thrash. By the way, Nidoking learns Body Slam at this level. You thought Nidoking was strong before. Thrash takes it to a whole new level. It can easily 1 or 2 shot anything that isn't a rock type, but that's why we have Bubble Beam. On my way to Bill's house, I catch an Oddish. Not because I plan on using it in battle, but because I want to be my HM user for Cut. Yes, Ivysaur can learn Cut, but since you'll need to use it 2 or 3 times to progress, it's a waste of a move slot. There's no move deleter in Gen 1, so there's no way to forget it. Once we got the ticket from Bill, it's time to board the SS Anne. There is 1 TM on the ship you're going to want to grab if nothing else. TM8, which contains Body Slam, a normal type attack with a 30% chance of paralyzing the opponent. After beating all the trainers aboard, it's time to meet the captain. But first, your rival will want to battle. With a combination of Mega Punch, Thrash, and Bubble Beam for Charmeleon, you should be able to easily sweep his team with Nidoking. Unless your luck is like mine, which sucks. Nidoking still pulls off the sweep, but he's barely hanging on thanks to misses from accuracy drop. Sand Attack is the worst. With your rival defeated, grab the Cut HM, teach it to your HM user of choice, and challenge Surge. By the way, did you know for some reason no one from the Nidoran family can learn Dig? Crazy, I know. It isn't until Generation 3 where they can learn it via TM. Not a big deal here though. Thanks to Nidoking's Poison Ground typing, all of Surge's electric moves are useless. Thrash easily gets the job done, winning Batch 3 and the TM for Thunderbolt. Now it's time to start building the rest of our team. Ivysaur and Nidoking can easily handle the first third of the game. Ivysaur for the first 2 gyms and Nidoking for everything else, but they're gonna need some backup now. I mentioned you should battle every trainer you come across. We're gonna break that rule for a bit once we're out of Rock Tunnel. Head to Celadon, avoiding every trainer possible. Grab the free Eevee sitting on the desk, but it's not gonna be an Eevee for very long. Buy a Water Stone and a Thunderstone at the mall. Then use the Thunderstone on Eevee. Evolve it into Jolteon. Probably the second best electric type in the game, just behind Zapdos. And since crit rates are determined by Pokemon speed in Generation 1, Jolteon has a crit rate of just over 25%. As for the Water Stone, hold on to it for now. Next, we're heading to Route 16 to catch a Doduo. Also, grab the HM for Fly. It'll make traveling a lot more convenient, and it'll give the Doduo a flying stab until it learns Drill Peck at level 30. Now we just gotta get our 2 new teammates up to par with the other members of our party. Focus on the Doduo for now. Getting it caught up should be fairly easy. The next gym is full of grass type trainers, making for some easy knockouts. Between the trainers in the gym and a couple of trainers we skipped on Route 8, Doduo should be at a high enough level to take on Erica. I was able to get Doduo up to level 30 where it learned Drill Peck, easily one-shotting Victory Bell and Tangela. Vileplume manages to hang on, and after a useless heal turn, Doduo takes out Vileplume and evolves into Dugtrio. Now we shift our attention to Jolteon. First, give the guards guarding Saffron a drink so he can pass through the city as we please. Plus we could visit Mr. Psychic's house and grab the TM for Psychic. Then get Jolteon the TM for Thunder Wave and Thunderbolt. This should make taking out the rocket grunts in the game corner fairly easy. Also, make sure you get the coin case. We can exchange some coins for some useful TMs later on. Jolteon should be able to handle all the rocket grunts easily, which in turn should level him up enough to be on par with the rest of the team. Once we get to the big boss Giovanni, lead with Ivysaur. At this point, it'll most likely know Razor Leaf, a high crit rate grass move. And in Generation 1, high crit moves are almost guaranteed to crit. Razor Leaf easily handles Giovanni's Onix and Rhyhorn, and 2-shots Kangaskhan. After this battle, my Ivysaur evolves. Now we head back to Lavender Town, and we go back to the Beat Every Trainer in Sight program. Take out the remaining trainers that we skipped, enter Pokemon Tower, and fight your rival again. At this point, the level gap is so high in our favor that he isn't a challenge. Once we grab the Pokeflute from Mr. Fuji, it's time to get our last 2 team members. Wake up the Snorlax on Route 12 and either knock it out or catch it. I'd say it's best to go for the one on Route 12 because on Route 13, you can grab the Super Rod from the Fishing Guru. We'll need it very soon. plus all the trainers there will help train your team for the next gym. Erika's ace was at level 29, and the next gym leader, Koga's ace, is at level 43. That's a 14 level difference between the 4th and 5th gym leader. So yeah, those trainers will definitely come in handy. Once you've made it to Fuchsia, head south to Route 19. Use the Super Rod until you eventually reel in a Staryu. Catch it and use that Water Stone that we bought at Celadon to evolve into Starmie. Teach it Psychic, then head for the Safari Zone. Once you've grabbed the HM for Surf, which will also teach Starmie, head to Area 3, where we have a 4% chance to encounter our final teammate, Tauros. Easily the 3rd best Pokemon in the entire game. Only Mewtwo and Mew surpass the power that is Tauros. But you can only get the former post-game, and the latter isn't available in the game at all without some kind of elaborate glitch or event. With those two out, this is the best we got. Normal types are OP in Generation 1, and between its 100 attack stat and 110 speed, giving it a crit rate of 21.5%, we got a beast on our hands. But it's hard to catch. Like I mentioned before, you only have a 4% chance of encountering it, and it has a fairly low catch rate. We could be looking at a rough time, and a hard hit to our wallets since you have to pay to get into the Safari Zone each time. So if that's too much work for you, substitute Tauros with Snorlax. You'll be exchanging speed for extra bulk and a bit more power. Also, Snorlax has a slightly less special stat, so it all depends on what you want. But I'll stand by that overall, Tauros is the better option. But is it worth the extra effort? Dear viewer, I will leave that up to you to decide. Once we've gone the bowl, it's time to move on to the next leg of our journey. Meet up with Koga and challenge him for our next badge. Between Nidoking and Tauros, Koga's easily brushed to the side, minus the fact that Koga's Weezing blew up and took Nidoking down with it. But a win's a win. We're not Nuzlocking right now. We're going to take the bike pack back up to Saffron. There's a ton of bikers who have poison type Pokemon, which will be perfect for training up Starmie. Between the bikers and the Rocket Grunts and Silphco, both Starmie and Tauros should be up to par with the rest of the team, if not pretty close. But before showing your rival what for again, grab every item you can find once you get the card key. Behind these locked doors, you'll find vitamins, rare candies, and the TM for Earthquake. Nidoking's gonna love that last one. Once you finish battling every Rocket Grunt and picking the area clean, it's time to challenge your rival. We're back on equal footing. But with this team, he shouldn't be too much of a challenge. Jolteon counters his Pidgeot and Gyarados, Dodrio scrambles Execute, Tauros body slams all over Alakazam thanks to his low defense stat, and Starmie washes Charizard away with Surf. The battle against Giovanni is even easier. Starmie can easily sweep his team with Surf or Psychic. Kangaskhan is probably the only Pokemon that can't one-shot, unless you get a crit. And with Starmie having a 1 in 5 chance of critting, it could happen, like it did for me. With Team Rocket driven out of town, you can challenge Sabrina for the Marsh badge. Don't worry if you're a few levels under her ace Alakazam. Thanks to her team's overall weakness in defense, Tauros can easily 1 or 2 shot most of her Pokemon with Body Slam. And the last 2 gyms are even easier thanks to Starmie. Surf absolutely drowns both Blaine's and Giovanni's team. I wish I had more to say here, but it's really that easy. It helps that a couple of Giovanni's Pokemon have a quad weakness to water and grass. So even if slightly underleveled, Surf still destroys them. Make sure you're all stocked up on potions and full heals, because we're heading to Victory Road. After we beat our rival again. But you can pretty much copy and paste everything I said about our battle at Silphco here. Not much changes besides him getting a Rhyhorn, which either Venusaur or Starmie can take care of. One last reminder, once in Victory Road, defeat every trainer there and pick up any item you might find useful. If you're feeling really daring, you can challenge the Moltres. If you remember to grab the Rock Slide TM from the girl on top of the Celadon Mall, which you can get by giving her a soda, it'll be pretty easy, as long as you hit it. Once you're out of Victory Road, congratulations! You're on the home stretch. Do one last check and make sure you're stocked up, and that you have every TM you think you'll need going into it. Once we go into the Elite Four, we can't leave unless we wipe. I'd recommend heading back to the Rocket Game Corner and spend some coins to get the TM for Hyper Beam. In Generation 1, if Hyper Beam knocks out a Pokemon, you'll skip the charging turn. I'd recommend teaching to either Tauros or Dodrio. If you feel like you're ready, step in and finish this. The first one to meet you will be Lorelei. Jolteon should be able to handle all of her water Pokemon with Thunderbolt. For her Jinx, Tauros should be able to handle her. It can learn Fire Blast, the TM you get from Blaine, or you can two-shot it with Body Slam, if you don't want to take the risk. With a little bit of luck, Lorelei shouldn't be a problem. Up next is Bruno. You only need one Pokemon for this battle as well. Starmie. Use Surf for his 2 Onixes, and Psychic for his fighting types. The Hitmonbros are a 1-hit KO, while Machamp will be a 2-hit without a crit. Agatha's turn. Nidoking can take care of her Ghost and Arbok with Earthquake, and Golbat with Rock Slide, assuming it doesn't miss. If something does go wrong with Nidoking, Starmie will make a good backup thanks to Psychic. Nidoking is a better option considering her Ghost's overall lack of physical defense, but it's good to have a backup plan just in case. That just leaves Lance. Jolteon easily one-shots his Gyarados. Starmie has the rest of his team covered thanks to Ice Beam. You can get the same TM from the same girl on top of the Celadon Mall roof. Just give her some water. But if by some chance Starmie can't get the job done, Tauros can learn Blizzard. You get that TM at the abandoned mansion at Cinnabar. But if Blizzard misses too much and Tauros falls, we have one last hope. Venusaur. He won't be able to handle Aerodactyl, but Venusaur can take advantage of an AI flaw to be his Dragonite. Nidoking will work as well. They're both part poison, which have a weakness to Psychic, and Dragonite knows 2 Psychic-type moves, Barrier and Reflect. And due to the way the AI is programmed in this game, they will only use moves of a type that deals super effective damage to it, regardless if the move does actual damage. Thanks to poor AI configuration, Leech Seed, and Toxic, Dragonite will eventually fall. We just need a little patience. Once we beat Lance, we have one battle left. The final encounter against our rival. Again, he loses with Pidgeot, which Jolteon easily zaps out of the sky. Either Dodrio or Tauros can take Alakazam thanks to his physical frailty. Starmie or Venusaur can wipe out his Rhydon thanks to his quad weakness to grass and water. Dodrio drills a hole in the Executor. Jolteon shockingly can take out both his Gyarados and Charizard. Even if something did happen to Jolteon, we still have Starmie waiting in the wings. But that's it. One of the optimal ways to beat Pokemon Red and Blue. It really says something when you can beat the game with your team in the mid to high 40s. But I'm curious, do you know of any ways to make the game even easier? Should I do a live stream on this run? What would you have done differently? Let me know in the comments. But for now, it's time to put the Game Boy down. Also, side note, I was hoping to have this video out last week, but the pandemic hit us pretty hard, and my entire household was affected because of it. So between myself getting sick and everyone else in the house getting sick, I had very little time and energy to do anything. So, apologies for the wait. I hope it was worth it. We should be back onto a more regularly scheduled program after this. Hopefully the worst is behind us. But again, if you did enjoy the video, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to help support the channel even further, I do have a Patreon page which you can check out in the link in the description below. You can also follow me on social media if you want. Links are also in the description. My name is Jeffrey Uri, and I will see you all very soon. Stay healthy, and goodbye.